we will have Vilius Benetis presentation about understanding attacks on critical infrastructure.
Hello, everyone. I'm from Vilnius, Lithuania. My role, I'll just do a short introduction. What I do with all the team in our organization, we focus on enabling and support all kind of countries around the world in building cybersecurity capacity. Like currently where I am, it's the state of 60,000 people, part of the Chuk state, part of the Federated States of Micronesia, somewhere over here in somewhere over there. And while doing work for cybersecurity domain, assisting many different countries, big ones and small ones, some knowledge emerges which maybe is not so known so far or not being discussed because it's not commercial knowledge. Nobody really benefits from it out of the way that we can earn money out of knowledge. That's why it's spread slower. So I would like to share that knowledge with you, draw your attention to some ideas and some concepts which I believe it's relevant for SMEs to understand for that. So as I introduced myself, so the slides probably will be shared afterwards. First of all, I would like to draw attention that in Lithuania, there are more than 170 organizations which declare publicly that we do something in cybersecurity. So this is kind of our local ecosystem of Lithuanian cybersecurity entities who care, and we do not only internal cybersecurity but expose to external. So thinking like this, at Lithuania, with 3 million, less than 3 million population, we have so many entities. So even in bigger countries, there should be even more. And if it's not, then probably there's extra possibility and chance to build even more bigger ecosystem. Now, if we look at the organizations, most of them are small entities, not even medium enterprises. It's small companies from 1 to 5 staff. Now, if we go to the topic itself, when we think about critical information infrastructures for small, medium enterprises and how they can be protected. So first of all, small, medium enterprises, if you're not in IT, they hardly can afford a person to be a professional cybersecurity expert, because that means that the extra price we need, so extra expenses or something what we need to take out from the profit is probably 40,000 euros per year. This is the cost of, on average, I would say the cost of cybersecurity expert. And for many organizations, especially small enterprises or small businesses, it's big cost as well. It's difficult to find proper specialists. And then as a small organization, when you're hit with attack or hit with cybersecurity incident, or let's say, for example, in this case, ransomware, then there's always a question, were you negligent? And that's why you need to be punished. How come you get attacked, you get infected, you get broken down, or you are a victim and you need to be pitied and imagine yourself as getting sick. Typically in our cultures, getting sick is normal. We know that we're going to get sick probably at least once this year in 2025, and probably at least once next year, and it's normal. And then we are sick, we inform others that we're sick, then we maybe stay in bed, and others are bringing us honey, hot tea, hot milk, and then it's improving. But if cyber attack is happening, and cyber attack is malicious activities of other people, then suddenly we start feeling okay. But well, it's not only victim, but how come they didn't secure themselves enough? So this dilemma is really big if you start thinking about it. So why we have such culture, but we blame others for getting infected, getting hacked, especially when we know that it's only because some malicious people wanted and put energy in attacking you. So if you would talk to police and ask, so all of those cyber criminal targets which were hacked or infected, how police treats them. So you would, at least I asked our Lithuanian cyber police, and I got answer that doesn't matter why people got intruded, and they are still victim as soon and as long as they report to police and claim that there are some losses. While regulators, national security centers, national CERTs, and different other data privacy organizations, they take their sticks and say, "Oh, you were hit, you were not doing good enough." But then it's a question, what is good enough? If you are a small, medium enterprise and you're negligent, then how much you should be punished? Because realistically, it's a double punishment, because you're punished already by criminals, and it costs you to, let's say, if you have another alternative, if you have a car accident and it's your fault, you already need to fix the car, and it's mandatory that you have insured, so other people vehicles are recovered and fixed by insurance money. But how much countries should punish you additionally for the fact that the incident has happened? How much is normal, and how does that affect our behavior? So the answer is depends on the rules and culture and laws. So what is current cybersecurity culture, and what are the cultures of cybersecurity? Does it draw the line what is good enough in cybersecurity? So what is expected for you to, how it is expected you to behave as a small and medium enterprise, or small, medium business, or family business, or just a startup, that others would not point at you that you were not good enough. Because we know that in China, maybe there's 50,000 people whose government job is to attack others for national powers and national security or national interests, let's say it like this. Typically, they don't destroy, they just spy, but then we have so many cyber criminals which have interest to hurt you. Or maybe if your immune system of cybersecurity immune system is quite low, then just normal scanners and bots will hit you and exploit you for different reasons. So is there anything that means reasonable cybersecurity? So if you are owner of a small business, what would be sufficient level to say, look, but I tried, but I still got sick? It's not my fault that I got flu. I was taking public transport, and somebody maybe coughed in the other part of the trolleybus, and then I got infected. So is it really my fault that I take public transport, or what should I do? I should isolate from the humanity, or how not to be impacted? So typically for health, we don't blame others, but for cybersecurity, for small companies, we don't blame, but we laugh. We say, okay, how could we be so stupid to click the link and transfer money? How we could be so stupid to trust what's written or get ransomware? And if we think about typical attacks on the small medium enterprises, it's a ransomware, and it's typical they are vulnerable infrastructure. So actually, it's not tuned up to the highest standard security standards. Maybe they are not patched correctly. Maybe the fixing of vulnerabilities, which were announced last week, it took more than a few days, and it was open. Then some bots were scanning through the internet and attacking and intruding in the systems. It's maybe about threats coming through email and websites, phishing, so business email compromise, or credential harvesting, the info stealers, which you are infected by just clicking on some message on websites through standard browsing, or even entering some keywords in Google and clicking on the first link because you believe that that's the right information, but basically it's planted by malicious, paid and planted by malicious actors. As well, could be your infrastructure hacked for the use on other attacks, for example, for supply chain, for command and control service, for malware distribution, for supply chain, meaning that through your infrastructure getting to your other clients as a company, if you provide some digital services. So the answer is yes. There's a trend now that reasonable cybersecurity is a new concept which is being discussed and being advocated, and currently already there are some states in the US which mention that the expectation from you not to be punished, in order not to be punished, you're expected to to protect your infrastructure as reasonable cybersecurity controls. And one of examples, what is this reasonable cybersecurity? It's mentioned this critical security controls, otherwise just called CIS controls. The latest version is 8.1. And then in these controls, there are tiers, implementation group 1, implementation group 2, implementation group 3, what I depict on the picture. And here you can see that implementation group 1 is targeted for small and medium-sized enterprises, exactly what we're talking about. And then there are other characteristics through it. And so this is kind of basis of cybersecurity hygiene. So you can take even synonymously that IG1 probably could be linked what is cybersecurity hygiene, what could be normal expectation and reasonable expectation for your behavior. Because if we think it's not only about regulators, but as well it's about legal processes that somebody can bring you to court saying that you, because of you, they lost some money and now they would claim that something is not good. So in the legal battle, it as well would be immense help to start claiming that I was using reasonable cybersecurity efforts, and if it was not enough, so what is enough from small businesses? So this methodology is could be good for you to as well to look at it and then think what are these levels and how it could be used. So in overall, this CIS, Center of Internet Security Controls, the version 8.1 has 18 controls or generic controls, but out of there, inside, for example, control number 1, inventory of and control of enterprise assets, there are 5 subcontrols, and only 2 of them are needed for implementation group 1. So basically what this control number 1 says, that you need to know what belongs to you as a digital assets, as a physical devices. Number 2, you need to know what is software running on your devices. Because only when you know what you own and only when you know what you run, you have a chance to configure and protect it correctly. Because if you don't know, then there's no way you can be able to handle its security. Similarly, number 3 is data protection actions. So out of 14 actions, you need to take care of the 6 only. And secure configuration. So we see the less than the half of or around half of controls are needed for implementation group 1. And account management, access control management, continuous vulnerability management. That means that you scan regularly, maybe once per month, maybe once per quarter, your assets and see what vulnerabilities you have. You keep logs and do analysis. You ensure that through email and web browser you don't get instantly infected. So the browsers are updated, web servers are updated, as well as some protections for the clicking and filtering for spam and junk and other access. And of course, antivirus, backups, in order to be able to recover data if it's needed, to ensure that the networks are protected. As well, okay, this one is not needed because you see it's 0 from 11 controls, network monitoring and defense, security awareness skills. So a lot of training is considered to be reasonable cybersecurity. Service provider management, So one control over here to pay attention from whom you buy services and how much you trust them, but we will not screw you and you get cybersecurity problem because they were not protected well. Application software security, if you, okay, it's not included as you see. Zero controls, and then incident response management, what you think about in case there's incident, what is going to be the process of responding. And finally, okay, but for small companies, penetration testing says that it's not needed because continuous vulnerability scanning, continuous being kind of regular, it doesn't mean that it's constantly every day, every night it's running, but it's maybe monthly or maybe quarterly or at least once per year. But from there, it's enough. You don't need to do penetration testing. So this is methodology which SIS controls, they are born from NSA testing DoD. So it's attempts from US, NSA, it's National Security Agency, testing Ministry of Defense, Department of Defense systems in the US, and always being able to hack. And then both of NSA and DoD in 2006, I think, or a little bit earlier, agreed to discuss but what could be the practical, actionable, prioritized technical activities for me to be more resilient. And what we want from SMEs, we want them to be resilient and capable to withstand the natural environment where they live. And our natural and digital environment is dangerous. So as soon as we connect to internet, as soon as we're available on the internet, we'll be approached, attacked, fed all kind of malwares, etc. So in that kind of natural background environment, it is considered that these IG1 controls should be sufficient for you to prove that you really try to do your best in your capacity as a small organization. And that should be, nobody should laugh at you, nobody should finger point that, oh, you were stupid. No, I wasn't stupid. I really tried to do what's required, and small organizations cannot do all the controls what big organizations are expected to do. So then we think about this logic of implementation group 1, from what threats it is expected to protect. So basically, it's exposed to general non-targeted attacks, for example, ransomware, malware, web application hacking, insider and privilege misuse. And we are not focused on protecting you from more advanced cyber threats, resulting in loss of public trust, exposed to industry-specific threats, because SMEs typically, they are not very specific. They are generic businesses which use digital means to operate. Of course, if you are a small enterprise but working in a highly specialized niche where you can be exposed to the threats of IG2, then probably you need to put more attention on to more controls. And IG3, we are exposed to sophisticated targeted attacks, including zero-day attacks and national state threat actors. When we know, as I mentioned, that China has so many staff working, trying to hit different countries and get the presence in the infrastructure. And as well, successful attacks can cause significant harm to the public welfare, so kind of critical information infrastructure. Then probably you need to deploy all the controls from the methodology. And there are more resources touching on this topic. In SIS Controls Navigator, you can click and check, for example, if you consider yourself ISMS, Information Security Management System Deployment, according to ISO 27001, with a mapping to that methodology or to different other methodologies, which controls are relevant and practical. So here, I think that's all from my presentation. If you would be interested to partner with us in Lithuania or somewhere else, we're happy to. And yes, I think that's over. And maybe there's some questions.
Thank you, Vilius, for your presentation. It was really interesting. And we have one question. So I will read it out loud. Thank you for the presentation. We are a small company, part of a logistics supply chain. We understand the importance of NIS2 directive, but we don't have a large IT department and big budgets for security. What would be the very first, most practical step we must take now to mitigate our biggest risks?
From Valeria,
Yes, yes.
because NIS2 is it's country dependent. So because I maybe what's in Belgium, but I would not be able to clearly comment on some other countries how it is implemented because I did not read the local legislations. What we need to understand that NIS2 brings new thing in the world of cybersecurity. It says that I'll take an analogy to public roads. So roads are in our countries for thousands of years, but it used to be humans who were working them, then cows, animals, and as well horses and carriages. And when the cars started, then we started to introduce particular regulations to ensure that others are feeling safe on the road. Not only you who's driving, but as well others will not be affected by your crazy behavior of you as a driver or your car as an unsafe car. That's why now we have two licenses. One license is a driver license. Another one is a car checkup or maintenance, but it has to be every year, every 2 years, depending on the country. Then you have to be checked up if a car is fit for the road. The brakes are normal, etc., etc., etc. The lights are okay, etc. In cybersecurity, in digital roads, up till now, up till beginning of this year, it was saying that everybody who wants to drive on digital roads, they are fine to do that, and it's all going to be good. Now we're introducing that everyone who is above particular size, because me as a bicycle rider, I don't need to have driving license, and my bicycle can be whatever bicycle. I can go without brakes if I want. Nobody cares. Nobody can punish me for that. Now we say that if you're above 10 million revenue and or you more than 50 people and you're in particular sectors, you must have checkups and you must be under particular framework as cars and drivers. So for example, in Lithuania, it's very clear that you need to have a CISO, a person, or it's called CISO in generic, but it's cybersecurity manager. And that's probably the good idea where to start, to appoint a person who is going to do cybersecurity management responsibilities. Now, what I see that the companies, even though they are maybe 100 people staff, for example, elevators maintenance company, they don't have cybersecurity staff. And for them to hire these staff, it's crazy difficult. But here, at least in Lithuania, out of this, what I showed you, the map of service providers, there are plenty of maybe at least 6-7 companies who deliver outsourced CISO or security manager services. And it's much cheaper than hiring such person. Additional service what you can hire up, the SOC. For example, in Lithuania, there's 1,500 NIS2 regulated entities. All of them have to have a security manager, and all of them have to have SOCs, internal or contracted outside. So this is if we say that we don't have enough money, so sorry, but regulation in the countries, in the European Union countries, said that okay, it's like on the roads, nobody cares that you don't have money to fix your car. It has to be fit for the roads for other security, not for your security. And you need to be able to drive professionally, not to affect others, because all the businesses are too much interconnected currently on digital. So you are mandated to spend money and make it right. And I hope that in your country, it's there's plenty of suppliers who can provide such services, and then you can negotiate. Maybe for you, it's even less what's needed, and then to fulfill the requirements. And then every country puts different regulatory things. But what I showed you on CIS, Actually, Belgium, I think even last year already, in middle of last year, we introduced, but we don't call it CIS. We call it EACEA standard cyber something something, but actually it's the same CIS methodology placed in under a different name. And every country decides which control framework to use or invent their own. So I hope it clarified, and you're welcome to just write me, find me on LinkedIn, and with particular question, I could help you or direct you to additional guidance how to make it practical.